Is Justin Hampton. I am the founder of the CompTool, and I am here with another CompTool Tuesday. This one though is actually pretty exciting because we've got something for everybody on this one. We've actually got a pretty cool feature that we'll talk about that's going to be available for you to start using. So let's see. Let's hop into it. So this week has been an exciting week. We have recently launched our new website. So we are now what everyone was calling us anyway. We are no longer compensation tool, but we are actually now CompTool. So we are CompTool.com. CompensationTool.com will get you to the same spot. But we're really excited for the new website. As I pull this thing up on my screen, we'll kind of share a lot of similar content to what we had, but it's a lot easier to find what you're looking for. Here where you can apply for the free Squirrel beta, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. You can get demos set up, but we kind of go through, real-time market data, the fact that you can benchmark multiple job families at once, our salary survey management tool, a lot of kind of the services that we provide, the things that we do on that first page, of course. But I think where most folks are going to get some value straight today, is under this resources page. And so we've got a great number of kind of resources for the comp practitioner listed here. So we've got a number of recommended salary surveys. So these are all surveys that I have used. Well, many of these surveys I have used in the past, or our current clients are using them. They're employer reported surveys. They're generally well-regarded surveys by other compensation practitioners. So I would certainly take a look here. All these are links to those survey companies. So if you're looking for more survey data, this is going to be a great place to kind of jump into it and start looking for that data. Another thing that we've got is our pulse surveys. So if you follow our LinkedIn page, we actually post a large number of our pulse surveys on this page. So if you're looking for information or you have a question about, for example, like who typically owns the sales incentive plans? Well, you can come here and see, of almost 400 companies that participate in this pulse survey, almost half of those are owned by the business unit, whereas about 30% are owned by HR comp. So again, this is one of those resources where if you're looking for just a quick question, you're trying to find some information, you can always come to our resources page and look at our pulse surveys. So a great new resource to be able to find a lot of the information that we see or that we've posted in one place. It is also on our LinkedIn CompTool page there, but this is just another probably easier to find resource there. So let's see. So we've got that. So if you're also looking for your local Total Rewards Association, we do have a list of all of the World at Work associations with their links to navigate to there. So take a look. And then finally, we have our awesome blog, which is mostly articles written by myself, but we are looking for new authors that we can help kind of get your work out there, get your feedback out there, get your words out there. So we know we've talked to a couple of folks and we're excited to start expanding our blog to not just myself or a couple of small others, but this is our blog here where you can really easily look at different articles that I've written around, the advantages of salary grades, problems with capping promotional increases, what is a Project Waldo, how to set your geographic differentials. So this is really designed to be a page that has a lot of really useful information for the compensation practitioner. So definitely would suggest taking a look at that. If there's anything you're looking for, you may be able to find it here. If you can't find an article you're looking for, let us know. We may be able to put something together for you. Many of these articles actually have been featured on WorkSpan. That's World at Work's articles that they send out. So let's see. So let's talk about something else. So there was a question that came out earlier this week on the World at Work forum that I thought was just a fantastic question. And it was the question is, what's made you become a seasoned, well-rounded comp professional? And as I started to think about this, one of the things that jumped out to me was it actually wasn't knowing more about compensation. It wasn't actually knowing all the different salary surveys or having better Excel formulas. Of course, those things are kind of the tickets to the dance in the first place. You do need to have a good understanding of the core foundation and kind of how that market data works. Being savvy in Excel, in a previous poll that we ran, was one of the best ways to move into the compensation function. So Excel junkies, all right, it's a great way to be there. But when I thought about myself and how I kind of developed into a compensation leader, it really had less to do with compensation and had a lot more to do with how to manage people and how to manage the business and how to solve business problems through the lens of being a compensation practitioner. So a little bit different than saying, I know how to market price jobs, right now how to do this. That's very important. You have to know how to do that. But to really be able to become that well-rounded kind of comp leader, a lot of it was understanding how to work with different client groups and to obtain that buy-in. And one of the best ways that I was able to do that oftentimes was to make sure that I came at things with a very empathetic and pragmatic approach, and to really understand the challenges that the business was facing, understand that they are working through, comp is a very important part of what they're trying to accomplish. And if we were to take a very hard line in the sand, adhere to a very rigid policy, sometimes those policies and sometimes those hard lines actually don't support the business. Now, what I found was, coming up with defensible strategies that you could remain consistent with, those were actually much better approaches to becoming a well-rounded business person. The second piece of it was education. Education is just so important at all parts of the business. And I know that, as we continue to see pay transparency really move out, right now, education around compensation is becoming ever more important, because everyone now is a compensation practitioner, because anyone can go and look to see what other companies are paying. And it's going to get even more exciting in a little bit. We'll tell you about that in just a couple of minutes. But right now, everyone can see everything. So having that education around why are you paid at the position you're paid within the range? How do you get that promotion? How do you move into that next level? That's really important. And there's different ways to do this with different parts of the business and different levels of employee in the business. So one of the things I like to think of is, you want to make sure your employees understand. You want to make sure your management team understands, and you want to make sure the C-suite understands kind of your compensation practices. And one of the best ways to do that is to start from the top down, and developing your compensation philosophy and making sure that is supported by the business is incredibly important. And when I say the business, I mean the executive leadership. You really want them to be advocates and strong supporters of your compensation program and compensation philosophy. The next level down are managers, and that could be anywhere from a supervisor to a senior level director or even a vice president. You want to make sure that they're able to speak towards the compensation philosophy and why their employees are at a certain point in the range. Now, if management understands that, they can have that conversation more effectively with employees, because they can speak specifically to that employee and the opportunities that they may specifically have in their business unit for those employees. Now, they can't speak broadly across the entire organization, but really what we like to see as comp practitioners is that managers are able to have those conversations first. Well, another piece of this too is making sure that employees understand that. So there's different ways and different approaches to make sure employees have the information they need. You can do this through intranet documents. For a lot of what we would do is as I was a comp practitioner, we would actually set up pages on the intranet that would explain our comp philosophy, that explain why an employee is where they're at in the pay range, what is a business justification for promotion, where would you expect to see someone, it's at the midpoint or at the low end or the high end of the range. It's really important to set those expectations. And then it's important to work with managers to make sure that they understand the market pricing process. And how would you do this? Well, again, it kind of comes back to making sure that you're being transparent and collaborative. So there would be times where we'd be doing a job family review. What we would do is we would look to managers and kind of say, well, if we think the market data is coming back a little bit lower than you're expecting, or out of line with what you're expecting, well, let's take a look at the market data together. Let's go through those surveys together and see if we can't collectively find better data. And I don't know if I would go so far as to just send the market data to managers. I think you're opening yourself up to a lot of subjective interpretation at that point. But if you can sit with the manager during a 30-minute meeting, a 15-minute meeting, whatever it might be, and actually walk through the surveys, you can pretty quickly narrow that down and narrow down that important information. And then they can see where the data that you came, or where the recommendations that you developed, where that came from. You can easily show them, well, there's only this much information. I know that we need to find data that matches this very unique job, but there's only so much here. And that's where we're deriving these pay ranges from. It's also really important to help explain, what is a job level. So I think those were kind of some of the major components of how I became a well-rounded comp professional, on top of just being an advocate for the business through the lens of compensation. So I thought that was a really fascinating question. I'd love to hear how other folks have become well-rounded compensation professionals. I'm sure if you post that in the World at Work forum too, the person who had posted that would also be very appreciative because it's a great question. So now one more thing, and this is kind of the thing that's really exciting. As we have launched our new website, so CompTool.com, we actually have a little bit of a surprise for everybody. So what is that surprise? Well, that surprise is one of the really great things that we rolled out about a year ago now, a little bit over a year ago, was Squirrel. And Squirrel is that tool that's using real-time market data to understand, and real-time job postings to understand, what does it take to be competitive? Well, there's good news. Squirrel is now available as a freemium service with some limitations, of course, but it is available for anyone to sign up for now. And you will have access to our database. You'll be able to run a limited number of searches per month. But if you refer people, we'll give you more searches every month. So you'll still have access to the market data. You'll still have access to the entire library. You'll still be able to go and search. And the more people you refer, the more searches you'll get. So we're really excited to launch this. We do know how valuable Squirrel has been, just for ourselves as a business. And for other businesses that we work with a lot of the biggest companies in the world, and they have had great luck with Squirrel. So if you're interested in taking a look at Squirrel and getting behind the wheel of Squirrel, let's show you how we do that. So we're going to come over here to our new website here. So again, CompTool.com. Now, if you are interested in looking at the new Squirrel, we'll just come right here, apply for the free Squirrel beta, fill out this information here. And on the next page, you'll be asked to send a few referrals. If you get all that, once you fill this information in and once you send some referrals over, which is optional, you will be given access to Squirrel. But as users that you've referred to the system sign up for it, you will be given additional credits to search every month. So right now, you'll start off with 10 credits, 10 search credits, and then every month you'll get a refresh of some additional credits so you can continue to search and search and search. So it's Squirrel. It's one of the most fascinating, kind of coolest uses, and one of the most impressive new data sets that I have seen as a compensation practitioner. Might be a little bit biased, but truly, as a comp practitioner that's been someone kind of a data snob, the level of detail, the level of granularity, and the amount of data that we have in Squirrel has been one of the most tremendously helpful tools for a lot of our clients in terms of figuring out what does it take to be competitive today. So again, if you'd like to take a look at it, go to CompTool.com and press that orange button that says you'd like to sign up for the beta test of Squirrel. Once we get that, we'll go ahead and review who's applied and then approve you. You'll get your registration information. You'll be able to sign up more people. So again, really excited to announce we've been working really hard on the Squirrel Freemium, the new website, and all of the work that we've got coming out down the road. So again, stay in touch with us. Oh, I just heard someone sign up for it. That's awesome. So again, stay in touch. Keep an eye on us. We've got some new features that we're working on now that by the end of the year should be even more exciting. So again, my name is Justin Hampton. I am the founder of CompTool, and we're looking forward to you hopping in there, taking a look at Squirrel. And till next CompTool Tuesday, we'll see you then. Take care.